Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, बेटे. तुम्हारा दूसरा वाला एमएसटी कब कर रहे हैं?
23rd से शुरू है मैम.
23rd से?
हाँ जी, मतलब नेक्स्ट वीक.
तो सारों का मिल गया है वैसे तुम्हें?
हाँ जी मैम.
मेरा कब है?
मैम आपके वाला है, एक सेकंड. मैम आपका 26th को है.
26. Which, okay, 26, that means, let me just,
थर्सडे को मैम.
26. Thursday, that means around 9:40.
यस मैम.
तो हम लोग 9:45 रखेंगे.
हाँ जी मैम.
और सेम 20 मिनट्स का रख लें.
हाँ जी मैम, देख लो आप.
यानी कि 20 क्वेश्चन ही रखेंगे ना, तो फिर
हाँ जी.
ठीक है. उसमें सिर्फ अपनी डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म पढ़ लेना सारे, ठीक है. और हमने ये सोचा था प्याजे की 2 स्टेजेस तो हमने कर ली थी,
अगली 2 करनी है और.
अगली 2 कर.
ठीक.
First,
Hello. First 2 stages you don't have to do because you have already done it for the first quiz. Third and fourth stage of Piaget and all the defense mechanisms. मेरे पास भी आ गई है मेल.
एक्सक्यूज मी मैम.
यस बेटा.
मैम जो हमारा थर्ड राउंड ऑफ क्विजेज है वो अपना नवंबर में ही नहीं खत्म होना था?
इन्होंने पहले तो कहा था शायद, लेकिन फिर
नहीं,
बाद
फिर
में
शांता मैम कह रहे थे कि अब दिसंबर स्टार्टिंग में 15th ऑफ दिसंबर से पहले पहले करना है उनको, तो इसलिए फिर एक दिन में 2 क्विजेस नहीं रखेंगे ना.
ओके ठीक.
डेवलपमेंटल अपना 26 नवंबर को, ये थर्सडे. जो थर्ड क्विज है ना, वो बेसिकली एक किस्म से चॉइस है. इफ यू आर सेटिस्फाइड विद 2 of your quizzes, but for the satisfaction of the university, I have to give. अब तुम अटेंड करते हो नहीं अटेंड करते, इट्स ऑल अप टू यू. Okay. The other day we were talking about the Guilford's theory of intelligence. You are able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just give you one example. You hear a loud noise. Okay, and you see some kind of smoke also with that loud noise. Okay, now what is it, that which component of the Guilford's intelligence are we measuring here? Like now, which this loud noise and your smoke tells you what? We are dealing with which component of the Guilford's model? What is it? This loud noise and smoke.
Ma'am, content.
Yeah, it falls into the content. Okay. Now, from where did you get the stimuli? You got the stimuli from auditory side and from the visual. Visual is what you saw the smoke, okay, and auditory, you heard the sound. Okay. Now, what will be your reactions to hear? You might run out of your room and see what happened outside. Okay. And now you were not able to see anything. Maybe from far you could see the smoke. Okay. But gave that loud sound you're not able to see. Now here is the operations. You will start evaluating what it could have been. Okay. Now when you're evaluating, you may have divergent thinking. You may, so many ideas may come to your mind. This could be this could be this could be that. Fine. Okay. After doing all those process, then you may arrive at one convergent thinking also. Like with me, it happened. I give you an example. I was in our Thapar campus, and I heard uh, this kind of sound, and then I was just thinking कि ये क्या है, और टाइम भी रात का 12-1 बजे थे. Then लाइट वाइट भी सब ठीक चल रही थी. Even if I say कि कुछ ऐसा हुआ है, so I was not able to be very sure, and so lot many ideas came to my mind. उस टाइम थोड़ा सा अपनी इमरजेंसी टाइप सी चल रही थी, पाक एंड इंडिया, तो वहां भी थॉट्स चली गई. और फिर ऐसे भी चला कि कई एक बार जब एयरक्राफ्ट जाता है तो वो भी कई एक बार ऐसा होती है. एंड लॉट मेनी अदर थिंग्स केम इनटू माय माइंड. मे बी द सम लाइट का कुछ चक्कर था जहाँ कुछ ऐसा. एंड ऑल दैट आई वाज thinking on all those factors. And now even my memory was acted over here. ठीक है, वो था my own past experiences जब ऐसा कुछ होता था, because I have seen number of wars. ठीक है, ranging from 62 onwards. तो ऐसी कंडीशंस उस टाइम होती थी, तो मेरी मेमोरी से कुछ निकल के आया, एंड आई वाज थिंकिंग ऑफ ऑल दोस सॉर्ट्स ऑफ थिंग्स. ओके. नाउ I was not able to get the answer. Got up in the morning, and I asked many people in our guest house where I was staying, what happened in the night, and I was not able to get any proper information from anybody. And everybody said the same thing. We heard the loud noise, but we do not know what it was. Then I asked one small boy who used to be sitting and playing on the computer over there. I said, "Did you hear this sound?" He said, "Yes, auntie, I heard it. And it's nothing, but we have a training center nearby Patiala. हम्म, यहाँ पर सोल्जर्स अपनी रात को नाइट शूटिंग की प्रैक्टिस करते हैं. And this kind of noises are often heard here in this campus." तो अब क्या था, when he told me this, तो मैं एकदम सीधा प्रोडक्ट्स में आ जाती हूँ. एंड आई गॉट वन यूनिट कि हाँ, ट्रेनिंग इज गोइंग ऑन एंड व्हाट हैपेंस इन द ट्रेनिंग. पीपल आर गिवन training and how these and this shooting and all is done in the night so that other human beings are not affected by it. कभी गलती से किसी को लग ना जाए कुछ. Okay, then it gives rise to class of relations, how this is related to that. Okay, and then system, then transformation. System is a major bit of class relations. Okay, and like I can relate here this training part to the defense forces. Okay, I can even relate it to my own experiences which I have seen during this training because I have been part of the defense services. Okay, and then the systems itself, okay, how this is all done, and given the kind of training to people who all or others are involved in this, how they take actions, how they make nominal roles, how the soldiers had to prepare for this kind of training. Okay, and then comes transformation. Transformation is where you could locate the change. Something has happened and now something new happens and you locate the change. For example, like when I think of me as a student and I take you as a student, okay, so then I can say how much change has taken place in the students. For example, like if we did something right also and teacher marked it wrong, we never had the guts to go and ask the teacher कि ये क्या किया है. But this behavior I noticed my daughter कि एक छोटे से mistake के कारण she went and asked the question even when she was studying in the first standard. ठीक है, and that thing I see in all of you people also because you discuss with the teacher कि how have you marked me wrong. Okay, so like this is where you see that change has taken place. And then comes the implications. Implication in the sense जब हम कहते हैं कोई भी किसी का कोई बिहेवियर होता है एंड वी से कि तुम आगे का तो सोच लिया करो. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जांपल if a child is sent to the school and instead of going to the school he goes to the movie, which is not very common nowadays. I don't know whether it is common or, but when we were studying these things were movies काफी attractive thing hoti thi, and there were no TVs also, so and they were not advanced computer system, and also people used to go to the theaters. और थिएटर के भी टाइमिंग्स होते थे और स्कूल टाइमिंग्स बहुत ज्यादा फिट बैठ जाता था कि पेरेंट्स भी नहीं जानेंगे और बच्चे चले जाते थे. ओके, और जब पेरेंट्स को इस बात का पता लगेगा देन दे ऑलवेज से कि तुम फ्यूचर का तो सोच लो, आगे जाके क्या बनोगे, क्या तुमने झाड़ू मारना. ऐसी ही उस टाइम की लैंग्वेज होती थी पेरेंट्स की. ठीक है, तो ये होता है इम्प्लीकेशन. ये आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू डे टू डे लाइफ एग्जांपल्स so that you understand it. Okay, what do I mean when I say implication? Implication is you should be knowledgeable in this particular kind of behavior, how it's going to impact your future. Okay, so this is the product. So when we are dealing with Guilford's, we deal with 180 factors, and there are three components of his theory. One is content, the part of the stimuli. Okay, and then is the, and they are a 5 in number, and then there are operations. And operation is what you do here, and you're doing what product you get out of it. And operation, I think in operations he has added one more concept. Okay, so is Guilford's structure of intelligence clear for you people? हेलो,
Yes, ma'am.
किसी को कुछ जानना है बेटे? आई हैव वन डाउट कि यहाँ ऑपरेशंस में 7 है शायद. आई लेट यू नो. आई थिंक ही हैड एग्जिस्टेंशियल लगाया था उसने, जब कुछ लगाया था, जहाँ इंटरपर्सनल लगाया था, समथिंग वाज देयर.
Ma'am, can you please repeat what was units about?
यूनिट्स, ओके. यूनिट है कि अगर मान लो कि यू गॉट एक ऑपरेशन में 2 into 2 कर दिया गया, ओके, और तुमने उसको मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया ऑपरेशन में, एंड व्हाट यू गेट इज द यूनिट. जो 4 तुम्हें आंसर मिला है, दैट इज द यूनिट. ठीक है. नाउ अब तुमने उसके क्लास रिलेशंस देखने हैं. तो तुम उसको क्लास रिलेशंस में अगर तुम जाते भी हो और तुम्हें या तो तुम, अगर तुम्हें कुछ और फैक्टर मिलते हैं, या तो तुम यहीं स्टॉप कर दोगे प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर. मान लो इफ आई आस्क कि 2 into 2 कितना होता है, यू विल से 4, और तुम्हारा प्रोडक्ट आ गया 4 आ गया. ठीक है. नाउ इफ द क्वेश्चन इज अगेन फर्दर, या फिर तुम अपने आप उसको आगे सोच रहे हो, तो 4 कम्स, ये 2 into 2 का टेबल है. ठीक है. तो उसके अंदर तुमने एक रिलेशंस देख रहे हो वहां पर. ठीक है. या तुम देख रहे हो कि इससे मैथमेटिकल कॉन्सेप्ट. ठीक है. फिर तुम आगे भी देख सकते हो कि 4 into 4 could be 16 also. या फिर ये कितनी चीजों को डिवाइड कर सकता है, यानी कि तुम्हारे पास रिलेशंस आ गए हैं. यू हैव सीन 4 into रिलेशन विद अदर नंबर्स. ओके. या जो भी तुम्हारे पास अदर स्टेटमेंट है उसके बारे में. फिर आ जाता है सिस्टम. जैसे आई वाज जस्ट थिंकिंग टेलिंग यू कि जैसे मैंने एक सोल्जर को, वो उसने बताया कि से ट्रेनिंग, देन इट गेव मी ऑल दैट अबाउट दैट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इटसेल्फ, यानी कि मुझे पूरा टोटल सिस्टम समझ में आ गया. Okay. And transformation is there. Okay, when you are given something and then when something new happens, you are able to notice that change. And implications में है यहाँ you can see the future impact of that, whatever is happening over there, the future impact. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So with this we finish our factor theory, and now let us go to the information theories of information processing theories. Now, what is information processing theories? This theory assumes that there are 3 main kinds of intelligence. पहला था है componential component, experiential component, and contextual info, okay. Now, componential is primarily reflects our information processing ability, which helps in academic performance. How much information you can take in is your componential, and how much you learn from your own experiences, store it in your memory, retrieve it whenever you want, okay, and then use it. It is dealing with your experiential intelligence. It even handles, involves your own creativity, your own imaginations, and all that which you have within you, the potentialities, different kind of potentialities. And the third one is the contextual intelligence. See, if you have componential, like you have taken information uh, from all sides, if you are in a particular kind of situation, ठीक है, तुमने आंखों से तुम देख भी रहे हो, कानों से तुम सुन भी रहे हो, तुम्हारी और अदर सेंसेस भी क्वाइट एक्टिव है, okay, then your information processing will be much better. Now, experiential, okay, fine, you have almost all the abilities, but when the time comes, you're not making use of it, then ये दोनों चीजें आपके लिए कोई काम नहीं आती. Okay, you must have seen there are certain people, वो घर के अंदर अपनी इंटेलिजेंस बहुत ज्यादा दिखा देंगे, ठीक है, द मोमेंट दे आर आउट विद द स्ट्रेंजर्स, या फिर कोई भी और दूसरी जगह देख लो जहां देयर आर पीपल हु आर लिटिल बिट बेटर देन देम, या कुछ भी देख लो, देयर इज लॉट मेनी फैक्टर्स which are related to our personalities. They do not make use of these two factors. Then what happens is, again, it leads to the sort of a failure only. That's why they had made this contextual intelligence as the important part. Now, whatever componential information you have, whatever experiences you have, it has to be related with context, related to that particular situation, whether you make use of it or you don't make use of it. Okay, now in the selection process, like when you take up our defense services, these two components are there, okay, which they test with your intelligence test. Okay, you are given one intelligence test, and then they try to find out whether you fall in grade 1 or you grade 2 or grade 3. Okay, based in that, you are taken in. That's fine. You are taken in the selection, but what is your contextual intelligence? Based on this, they will either keep you or they will not keep you for the that system. Okay, now what is this contextual intelligence? It is called the practical intelligence. Like, how can you make use of your intelligence to handle the situational problems? Now, how they measure this practical intelligence? They measure it through your thematic apperception test. Okay, they measure it through your word association test, and they measure it in the situational reaction test. Now, what is this test? In thematic apperception test, you have to make a story. after seeing the one picture, which is quite ambiguous. You can have any number of stories on that. Like different people will have different story. But when they're making that story, how much practicality they use. For one example, I'll give you. A boy is in search of a job. He goes from one institute to institute, or one place to another place in search of job, and wherever that person goes, he sees all the seats are full. Okay, now the many any one of you just tell me one story on this, like what will you make a story on out of this? A person goes from one institute to the other institute, and wherever he goes, there's no jobs available. If you see that kind of picture, what story will you write on this? Any one of you? Apurva, my साथी. कौन छोड़ गया? कोई भी एक आ जाओ, उसमें कोई वो नहीं है कि what is wrong और what is right. नहीं तो फिर मुझे ही बनानी पड़ेगी. अगर if you say that, okay, then I'll finally tell you then. So many people, they come out with the stories on this card, saying that this person, he was very tired of watching this no place for the job. So finally what he does, he opens up a factory. Okay, and then he employs all his classmates who were jobless, and then they progressed to the maximum. This kind of story, majority of them like. Now, what is lagging behind in this? He had modified, like उसने अपना high imagination use करके वो तो बात लिख दी है, लेकिन what is not there is the practical part of the thing. How did he arrange for the money? How many years it took for him to develop his factory? Okay, how much efforts his friend had to put to come up in the to bring his factory up. Okay, so that is the practical part. How quickly he handled this situation. Like another example, there is a boy who's swimming in the water, and suddenly he gets into trouble, and you see it, you also do not know swimming, but how will you save that boy? In this situation, how he makes use of limited things available with him, and he saves that boy. This is your practical intelligence. I hope you're clear with the practical intelligence now. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we move to the another theory which is given by J.P. Das. आज तक जितनी भी हम अपनी theories पढ़ रहे थे ना, they were all not from India. लेकिन J.P. Das is the one person who is from India, and he collaborated with 2 other foreigners, and he developed this test which is called PASS model of intelligence. He belongs to Odisha side. I happen to meet him also. Okay, he developed this test of intelligence, and this test of intelligence is basically like in all our higher selection purposes, they have started using this test. Now, what does the PASS stand for? PASS, P is for planning, A is for attention arousal, S is for simultaneous, and successive. So planning, attention arousal, and simultaneous successive theory of intelligence developed by J.P. Das, Jack Naglieri, and Kirby in 1994. So this is the recent theory which has been developed. They propose that three functional, this theory, it is more of a kind of scientific and more of a neuro cognitive in nature. This theory is actually based on the theory developed by Luria. Luria is the person who has our neuropsychological test, जो तुम्हारे lobes के functions को when we assess, different lobes measure are responsible for different kind of functions. Like frontal is for planning, temporal is for your memory, occipital is for seeing, and parietal is for your other locations, orientation to the different directions and all. Okay, so this theory has a base of Luria's work. In our psychological field, then many of you will be going for clinical psychology, and this neuropsychological assessment is basically used in the neurology side. Okay, where these patients has to go for operations for particular lobe, maybe some kind of tumor in the brain, which is affecting different parts of the brain. There, they give this job to the psychologist, where the psychologist assesses the neuropsychological functions of the individual, and then after they have diagnosed the person that the person may be having a problem in the frontal lobe, for example, then you test with our neuropsychological battery and then confirm whether they are right or wrong. If they are psychologically also you feel he is not able to do those functions properly, which belong to the frontal lobe, then you also give your positive results from your side that they also agree with that. Okay, but by chance they find that and we do not find, then they have to assess that case little more to come to a proper conclusion. Where is the lesion, or where is the tumor, which part of it of the brain, and how it is getting, the other part is getting affected by that. Okay, now so these people, they made the base of this Luria's theory, and they said three functional units of the brain determine the intellectual activity of the individual. These three units are responsible for planning, arousal of attention, and simultaneously successive process. These past processes are interactive in nature, yet each has its own distinctive function. Okay, now before we go into the diagram itself of the past model, Manlu, if I ask you, you come to my house, okay, and my house is in this sector, okay, and the color of the house is, for example, maybe it's red in color. Yeah, it's white in color. Okay, it's white in color. And there is one house which is nearby, which is, you can see that it's a red painted house. The house which is quite close to my house. And my house number is this. Now, I have given you this information. Okay. Now you are coming to my house. What will be your actions? When I was telling you this, the first thing you will tell me, okay, ma'am, let me write down. And if your memory is good, you're feeding everything into your memory box. Okay, this is my house number, and I stay in this sector. Okay, now what was happening? Your attention was totally towards my, repeating the address and all other information which I'm giving you on the around my house. So now you are listening to me attentively, you are writing down or you're noting down in your mobile. This is your attention arousal, they call. Okay. And simultaneously, when you're listening to me and I'm telling you the sector number, there is something going on behind your brain. Okay, how will you reach me? Whether you have to, drive your car or your motorbike, or you're going to walk up. So some kind of planning is also going on. That's why these two concepts are related. But however, this planning is part of almost all the 3 units. Okay. So here you can say there is a input. You're able to see this diagram?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am.
So input is coming. Here I have given you my proper addresses and all. And your arousal. Here your first unit of your brain is getting activated. और जो arousal है हमारा कहाँ पर है, वो brain stem में है. ठीक, तुम लोगों की ये फिजियोलॉजी की कुछ क्लास लगी है इसके ऊपर? डॉक्टर शांता ने कोई क्लास ली है तुम्हें ब्रेन वगैरह के ऊपर अभी नहीं, या नहीं ली अभी? हेलो
मैम ने लॉय सर ले रहे हैं ब्रेन के ऊपर क्लासेस.
क्या ब्रेन के ऊपर ले रही है ना, तो उन्होंने कुछ बताया होगा ना. तो अपना जो ब्रेन स्टेम है दैट इज इन्वॉल्व हियर. और अभी तुम्हारे क्या है, when this you're getting the information and your brain is arousal, here again you're putting things into your memory, conceptual, perceptual, everything is involved for your arousal. Okay, then and the main unit involved is our brain stem. And now you're taking this information into the second unit. We will explain these units after this explaining you the this diagram. We take into the second unit of the brain, where occipital, your parietal and temporal lobe is getting activated, and your simultaneous and successive thinking is also getting activated. Okay. And then from here, when all those things are memory, conceptual, all these things, they get activated. And then you again planning here. And from here, the information goes to the third unit, where you take the, it is called functional unit. Okay. And here again, your second time planning may be there. If certain modification has to be made in the planning, you do it here at the third phase again. Okay. And maybe if you had failed here on the second unit and third unit also you failed, then you may have to replan it. So all these things happen at the third unit, and from the third unit goes our output. Okay. Now even if you our Guilford's theory के लिए अगर भी तुम देखो तो we have content here, ठीक है, we have operations here, and we have our what was that, context, no, content, operations, and what was the third one? Wait, let me see.
It was product.
It was product. Okay, so we give the product from the third unit, but they have explained this with the theories taking part of the brains into account. And now here I'll give you some examples also. I'll show you the test also, how they measure. And now okay, coming to my first example. Now you have entered my sector. Now, what is your process? Here you are performing simultaneous thinking. ठीक है, साइमल्टेनियस में क्या हो रहा है कि तुम घर का नंबर भी देख रहे हो, सेक्टर की मान लो इफ आई हैव गिवन यू इवन द लेन नंबर, तुम उसको भी देख रहे हो. तुम मेरे घर का मेकअप भी देख रहे हो कि वो व्हाइट कलर का है. ठीक है, और तुम उस घर को भी देख रहे हो जिसका मैंने तुम्हें इंडिकेशन दिया है कि वो रेड कलर का है. तो तुम साइमल्टेनियसली क्वाइट ए बिट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन को प्रोसेस कर रहे हो. ओके, देन थर्ड फोर्थ दे गिव इज द सक्सेसिव. सक्सेसिव का मतलब है कि until and unless you learn the first one, ठीक है, तो you cannot learn the second part. Like it is step by understanding. For example, you are climbing stairs, तो तुम्हें पहली स्टेयर को क्लाइंब करना है, then only you can climb the second or the third or the fourth. Maybe you can jump by 3, 4, but you cannot reach the end in one jump. Okay, that is called the successive. Like where we are learning alphabets A, B, C, D, E. ठीक है, so we are doing it by successive successive abilities involved in that. The learning the tables, successive is involved in it. यानी कि you have to learn first and then you have to learn the second one. Okay, but in the simultaneously at the same time you're doing 4, 5 things together. You could get the crust of the theory what we are going to do. Now let's read what are these 3 functional theories units. The function of the first unit provides regulation of cortical arousal and attention. The second codes information using simultaneous and successive process. And the third provides for strategies, development, strategy use, self-monitoring and control of cognitive activities. Now, according to Luria, as I told you, the theory is based on Luria's work. The first of these 3 functional units of the brain, the attention arousal system, is located primarily in the brain stem and the medial region of the cortex. The unit provides the brain with the appropriate level of arousal or cortical tone as well as directive and selective attention. Now here what happens if you're getting a multiple kind of information, okay, and you're interested at one particular kind of attention, so you try to shut off from the other informations and you try to pay attention to one stimuli. Okay, and this happens due to this brain stem and other cortex area. Now further they say, when a multiple dimensional stimulus array is presented to a person who is then required to pay attention to only one dimension, the inhibition of responding to other stimuli and the allocation of attention to the central dimension depend on the resource of first functional unit. Where you have to cut down the others, stimuli, it is your first unit which helps you to do that. Okay, Luria stated that optimal condition of arousal is needed. ठीक है, या तो अगर तुम ध्यान ही नहीं देते हो, ठीक है, तभी तुम उसके ऊपर नहीं उस स्टिमुली को नहीं सुन सकोगे, और अगर तुम एक्साइटेड हो, एंशियस बन जाते हो, then also you will not be able to pay attention to that stimuli properly. ठीक है, कई बार हो जाता है ना कि I didn't hear you, probably because you were not that very attentive. That attention is attentiveness may be impacted by either you were not properly aroused or you were overly aroused. ठीक है, so we have to have it. वही कहते हैं ना कि you should not be very anxious, क्योंकि वो अपना ऑप्टिमल लेवल को खराब कर जाता है. Moreover, only when individual is sufficiently aroused, and you have to be sufficiently aroused. अब attention arousal क्यों जरूरी है? Because it keeps you aroused and keep you awake, and you are alert in those conditions. Now, the second functional unit is associated with occipital lobe, parietal lobe, and temporal lobe, posterior to the central sulcus of the brain. This unit is responsible for receiving, processing, and retaining information. What is it? You receive the information, you process that information, what you have to do here after getting that information and retaining that information, the person obtains from the extended world. Like you put it in your memory, you register it in your memory register and keep it in your memory safe so that you can retrieve it when you need it. This unit involves simultaneous processing and successive processing. Either any one of that can be involved. Simultaneous processing involves integrating stimuli into groups so that interrelationships among the components are understood. As I told you, that house number, this, and you start associating those things. Okay? जैसे ही, for example, another example is there. Raven's progressive तो तुम सबने देखा हुआ है. When you are trying to fit into the stimuli to complete the upper portion, that main design, what do you see? You see the design also. You see the sequence also. You see from top to bottom whether the figure is getting completed, and from left to right. Okay, this is what is called your simultaneous. Now, the third functional unit is associated with the prefrontal. Again, in the beginning we had frontal lobe. Again, in the final also we have a frontal lobe, because planning is involved over there also. This unit provides for the programming, regulation, verification of behavior, and is responsible for behavior such as asking questions, solving problems, and self-monitoring. It's all your practical actions which are going to take place here. Here, what is your operational? Other responsibilities, a third function unit include regulation of voluntary activity, conscious impulses, and your linguistic abilities. They all get acted in this third unit. The third functional unit provides for the most complex aspect of human behavior, including your personality and consciousness. Okay, that's what here our all activities are influenced by our personality factors also. मान लो you are not very motivated kind of person. Okay, so the moment you find that problem is slightly difficult, you give it up. That is what happens when the people have learned helplessness. थोड़ा सा काम हुआ नहीं और थोड़ा सा difficult लगा, they just give it up. I can't do it. ठीक है, यहाँ पे totally depression है. I can't get up. I can't do it. ठीक है, those kind of things are involved here in our third unit. Like whatever output you give, the gestalt functions of you will be affecting that output. Now, till this, any questions on any theories of your you have learned so far? Okay. In the next class, I'll take up all the sort of different psychological tests which we make use of.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, beta.
Ma'am, have you corrected the answers from the quiz one?
हाँ, वो तो तुम लोगों के तुम्हारे सामने ही करेक्ट हो गए थे बेटे.
नहीं मैम, एक वो जो टोपोग्राफी वाला था और
हाँ
एक
हाँ, टोपोग्राफी वाला मैंने कर दिया बेटे, वो मैंने तुम लोगों को मार्क्स दे दिए.
मैम अभी हमें मिले नहीं वो मार्क्स.
नहीं, तुम लोगों को नहीं मिले, वो एमएसटी के मार्क्स तो मेरे पास ही पड़े हैं ना. अगर तुम लोगों को चाहिए मैं भेज दूंगी वो तुम्हें, वो तो मैंने वैसे ही रख लिया. व्हेन आई से मैंने इंक्रीज कर दिया तो मैंने इंक्रीज कर दिया है. जो भी तुम्हारे मार्क्स आए थे तुम्हें, ठीक है ना. सेकंड क्विज भी होने दो. और यू वांट योर आंसर्स?
मैम एक्चुअली वो एलएमएस पे हमें अभी भी हमारे पुराने मार्क्स ही शो हो रहे हैं.
एलएमएस के ऊपर तो तुम्हारे पुराने मार्क्स ही दिखाई देंगे ना बेटे. वो तो मेरे पास है ना. जब मैंने तुम्हारे 2 में से बेस्ट करके, एलएमएस के ऊपर तो हम कोई एक्टिविटी नहीं करेंगे ना. जब तुम्हारे एग्जाम मार्क्स लगेंगे वो तो मैं लगाऊंगी ना. अगर एलएमएस के ऊपर से करना हुआ हम, तो यू विल सी द इंक्रीमेंट इन दैट. You got me what I want to convey?
मैम मतलब अब एलएमएस पे हमें पुराने वाले मार्क्स ही शो होंगे?
नहीं, तुम्हारे पुराने मार्क्स तुम अभी देख रहे हो, ठीक है ना. जब तुम्हारे इनकी हमें पूरी कैलकुलेशन करनी होगी ना.
यस मैम.
अगर तुम मुझे हैंडल एलएमएस के थ्रू ही करना है. एलएमएस तो तुम लोगों को क्यूज देने के लिए हमने यूज में लेके आए हैं ना. अगर मुझे मार्क्स भी वहीं ऐड करने हैं बैठ के, या तुम्हारा फाइनल मार्क्स मुझे वहीं से लगाने हैं, तो मैं वहां अपने आप करेक्ट कर दूंगी. यू विल सी इन दैट. अगर हमें अपने आप मैन्युअली सारा कुछ करना है, एक्चुअली व्हाट हैपेंस, जैसे ये लोग करते हैं ना, जो तुम्हारी असाइनमेंट, तुम लोग मुझे असाइनमेंट भी ड्यू है तुम्हारी, ठीक है ना बेटा?
यस मैम.
कोई बात नहीं, अगर नहीं हुई तो मुझे नेक्स्ट वीक तक दे देना.
मैम वो 30th तक है उसकी लास्ट डेट.
हाँ ठीक है, 30th तक दे देना. ओके, उसके मार्क्स होंगे बेटे, ठीक है.
यस मैम.
फिर तुम्हारे जो ये 3 क्विज होंगे या 2 क्विज होंगे, इनके मार्क्स होंगे. और इसमें है जो तुम्हारा बेस्ट क्विज होगा, जिसमें बेस्ट मार्क्स तुम्हारे आएंगे, उस क्विज को लिया जाएगा, ठीक है. और फिर तुम्हारे ईएसटी के मार्क्स होंगे. इन तीनों मार्क्स को जोड़ के तुम्हारे फाइनल ईएसटी का मार्क्स बनते हैं.
ओके मैम.
ठीक है. तुम्हारे असाइनमेंट के मार्क्स लगेंगे, तुम्हारे ये एमएसटी के, दे विल टेल अस कि कितने को कन्वर्ट करना, कैसे करना. उसमें काफी सारा कन्वर्शंस हो जाते हैं, तो वो मैनुअल करके फिर तुम्हारे ईएसटी के मार्क्स लग के फिर सारे जुड़ के वो तुम्हारे मार्क्स उसमें लगेंगे. तो जो मैंने एक्सेल की शीट अपनी बना रखी है ना तुम्हारे मार्क्स की, जो तुम्हारे पहले क्विज में मार्क्स आए हैं, तो उसमें मैंने +1 करके ही तुम्हारे सारों के मार्क्स लगा रखे. चाहे किसी ने वो आंसर करा भी था या नहीं करा था, आई हैव गिवन 1 टू एवरीवन.
मैम एक्चुअली 2 क्वेश्चंस थे, एक टोपोग्राफी वाला और एक ओडिपस कॉम्प्लेक्स वाला.
ओडिपस कॉम्प्लेक्स का मैंने तुम लोगों को कहा था कि अगर तुम्हारा एक भी दे रखा है ना तुमने आंसर.
यस मैम. मैंने ओडिपस करा था बट मेरे को उसका स्कोर नहीं मिला.
नहीं, वही ना, तुमने एमएस में नहीं देखा है, वहां पर मैंने किया नहीं है ना बेटे. और तुम्हारा नाम क्या है?
आशिमा.
ओके.
यस मैम.
हाँ ठीक है. तो अगर हमें जरूरत पड़ी कि हमने एलएमएस में करना, आई विल डू इट, क्योंकि मैं उनको मैनिपुलेट कुछ नहीं करना चाहती थी एलएमएस के ऊपर. बट आई हैव इन माय own Excel sheet which I'm getting like prepared for your EST
yes,
exam.
actually, ऐसा ही सेम एक बार एक्सपेरिमेंटल साइकोलॉजी में भी हुआ था। आंसर्स हमें गलत शो हो रहे थे, तो संथा मैम ने पीछे से लाइक आंसर्स करेक्ट कर दिए थे, तो हमारे स्कोर्स उस अकॉर्डिंग हो गए थे।
हो गए थे तो ठीक है, आई विल डू दैट आल्सो, नो प्रॉब्लम।
यस मैम।
ठीक है,
यस, थैंक यू मैम।
पता नहीं मैंने डिलीट ना कर दिया हो तुम्हारे, देख लूंगी मैं, आई जस्ट हैव अ लुक, बट अदरवाइज फील कॉन्फिडेंट बेटा, आई विल नॉट से अदरवाइज। ठीक है, बिकॉज यू पीपल आर इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर अस। ठीक है,
यस मैम, थैंक यू।
अगर तुम चाहो तो मैं तुम्हारी ये एक्सेल वाली शीट तुम लोगों को भेज दूंगी, यू कैन हैव ए लुक एट दैट।
श्योर मैम।
Okay, end the class then, by chance somebody else needs it. Any other question, beta, any one of you?